Yo, yo, yo. This week on the X Factor Sports Podcast, episode 98, we got Major League Baseball Power Rankings. Who lands at number one? We got the NFL finally here, week one starting tomorrow night. We will give you the X Factors for the primetime games this weekend and college football. Where did we go wrong? How did we get the two games we picked wrong in the first place? This is Jay Mondane. The X Factor Sports Podcast, episode 98 starts right now. Yeah, this is your host, Jay Mondane. This is season 9, episode 2 of the X Factor Sports Podcast. Appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. Every Wednesday night, you can catch us on YouTube and anywhere you listen to podcasts. So that's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, YouTube Music now, Samsung. We're everywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Catch up on the first 97 episodes of the X Factor Sports Podcast so you can meet us here every Wednesday night. Appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. We got a great show. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to get into this quick news. So what we got going on over this holiday weekend that just went by, I'm going to start with the ladies. We're going to get into tennis. Coco Gauff and Naomi Osaka played on Monday night, actually, or Monday afternoon. Osaka beat her in straight sets. It's kind of crazy to think that the last time they actually played against each other, that Coco Gauff was only 15 years old. I think she's like 22 now. So it's been a long time since they played. And Naomi Osaka ranked number 22 in the world. She's still in the U.S. Open. So congrats to her. On the men's side, Carlos Alcaraz dominated yesterday along with a couple other great players. So Alcaraz, I think, is going to move on. Jannik Sinner, the number one player in the world, moves on. Novak Djokovic moves on. He dominated last night as well. So we got U.S. Open tennis going on right now, so be sure to check that out. NCAA football, this is where we got the two games wrong that we picked last weekend. We had Texas going into Ohio State and beating them, and they ended up losing 14-7. It was a hard-fought game. Two good teams. The defense looked like it was already in midseason form. The offense hadn't caught up to the defense yet, is kind of what I got from that game. Texas couldn't really get anything going. They got a nice touchdown from Arch Manning, but he looked rusty, if you want to call it rust, because he ain't played in a while. He doesn't have that much experience as it is anyway. But my takeaway from that game is it was the first game of the season. You going into the defending national champions home field. It's hard to play anyway there. And I'm sure they heard all summer long that they were going to play against Arch Manning. He's supposed to be the second coming, blah, blah, blah. So they were probably motivated to shut him down. Like I said, both defenses look great. But I picked Texas to win that game, so I was off on that. They lose 14-7. But everybody's killing this kid on social media and online, and that's kind of the crazy thing about this social media world we live in. But he's still young. It's his first game as the full leader, starter, the guy, right? He doesn't have to look over his shoulder. So I wonder if he had mixed emotions about that and kind of what was going on through his head. But he didn't have the best game, but it wasn't terrible. He just didn't have the best game. I think he'll get better as the season progresses. I think we can all agree on that. Then the second game, Clemson LSU. Either Clemson is not as good as I thought they were, or LSU is not as good as I thought they were, or LSU is better than I thought they were. Let me say that, because LSU looked really good. Again, it's the first game, but they looked elite, played some great defense. The quarterback matchup, LSU quarterback was not phased at all going on the road, made some great plays. They dominated as well, so congrats to them. They got a huge win. So I picked Clemson to win at home and then Texas to win on the road. If you watched the games this weekend, you saw that the opposite happened. So we didn't make that pick right, which tends to happen sometimes in football. You don't really have a good beat on teams. You just kind of go off preseason and what they're bringing back from last year, and you kind of assess it from there and make the best guess on who you think will win those games. And so we got those wrong. So it's all good. But Alabama also losing to Florida State. I wouldn't have guessed that if I would have made that prediction. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Figured Alabama would give Florida State a game and actually beat them. Turns out they lose, give up 31 points in the opening game in Florida State. So maybe they're better than I thought this year as well. So maybe they will actually compete in the ACC against Clemson and Miami, who beat Notre Dame also. So that's what we got for NCAA football. Y'all let me know what y'all think about what this season will be. The new rankings came out yesterday with Ohio State at number 1 and Alabama falling all the way down to like 20th or something like that, 21st. So y'all let me know what y'all think. How will this season go? Who's actually going to be the best team in the SEC? Will it be LSU? Will Alabama turn it around after just one game? Will Texas be as good as we think they are? So y'all let me know. All right. So that's what we got for the quick news. So let's go ahead and dive into Major League Baseball. We're going to switch it up and we're going to get into the power rankings for Major League Baseball, just like we do every time in the summer. Anytime we get past a holiday, we kind of break into where we are in baseball and where the power rankings are. We did it at Memorial Day. We did it at the 4th of July. Now Labor Day was Monday. So now we got to see where we are in Major League Baseball on this home stretch to get into the playoffs. So there's my top 10. You can see it on the screen. And at number 10, we got the Texas Rangers. All right. Their record is tied with the Mets. They're 74-64. This is as of Monday, September 1st. And with the Rangers, they actually picked it up a little bit the second half of the season. They didn't really start off great, but now with the depth in their lineup, they look really good. So maybe they can make a nice little push for the wild card. We'll see what happens there, but they have made it into the top 10 based on how they've been playing. They're getting a lot of runs from their offense, which is why they're started a couple of runs of wins within the American League West. At number 9, the Mets. So I believe in the 4th of July, the Mets were like 4th or 5th in the power rankings. It was tough to win in Citi Field. We talked about that. They were kind of jockeying for position with the Yankees. They fell back to 9th just because they had started losing some games and struggling. So with only Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso carrying the offense, not getting much from Juan Soto, or at least as much as they had hoped they would get. So the Mets fall down to 9, but they still are one of the best teams in baseball, even with the recent struggles. At number 8, Seattle Mariners, holding on strong, trying to win the American League West. I don't know if they will get it because of Houston Astros, but they have been nip and tuck, neck and neck as far as records go. They're 75-63 as of Monday. So they've held on. I think they could get a wild card spot. They got the consistent pitching, which is what you need in September, October to make a run. So for that reason, we got Seattle at 8. All right. At number 7, the Boston Red Sox, coming out of nowhere. I don't think they were even in the last power ranking we had, but a lot of momentum they're gaining at the right time. I'm not saying this is the 2011 Red Sox or the 2004 Red Sox or even the 2018. I'm just saying they're peaking at the right time, right? If it's a long season, 162 games, if you're going to peak, this is probably the time that you would want to do it, right? We get past Labor Day, home stretch. We're trying to get into October, and that is what the Boston Red Sox are doing. So winning on these matchups, and they're at 76 and 62. So they're actually making a good run. They're going to get up to 80 wins for sure. And we'll see how the home stretch looks for them. They got two other teams in their division that are really good. Toronto Blue Jays, obviously you see them in the Yankees. So we'll see what happens. At number 6, as you can see, the Chicago Cubs, they kind of dipped a little. I think the last time we had a power ranking, the Cubs were at like 3rd. They were having a really, really impressive first half of the season. After All-Star break, it kind of dipped a little. The team is balanced, but they lost some games they shouldn't have lost. This lineup is starting to improve, but I just don't know if they look like a playoff team to me, honestly. I think they'll get in the playoffs, but I don't know if they'll make a run, if they're just a wild card team. They're number 1 in point differential, but anytime they're not scoring runs, it's a tough, tight game. They got to rely on pitching. Pitching hasn't been consistent. So for that reason, I got them at number 6. At number 5, we got the Dodgers. Now, we always talk about the Dodgers because they've been one of the best teams in baseball for the last 5, 6, 7 years, right? In this regular season run, it's almost like they are coasting, meaning they can turn it on at any time. They got the championship pedigree. They have great players on their team, right? So last night, Shohei Ohtani crushed a home run. The exit velocity was like 120 miles per hour. So like they still have the great players. I feel like they're just trying to get into October injury-free, right? So when they need to show up and play, I talked about this last week, when they played against the Padres, right? Because that's a team that is trying to win a division over them, over in the NL West. So I feel like the Dodgers, when they need to perform, they can do it. They've shown it time and time again. But in terms of power rankings, they've got some slippage, and there are teams, as you can see here on this list, that are better than them as of Monday, September 1st. So because of that reason, I can't have them higher than 5, right? They're 78 and 59, same record as the Cubs, but they did have a little slip. So they depended a lot on their offense, and they lead the league in runs, but the defense hasn't been the best, and they've kind of dropped some games they shouldn't have dropped. So for that, I got them at number 5. Number 4, this team is a half game over the Dodgers with 79 and 58. The Philadelphia Phillies, best home record in baseball, so they got to be in the top 5 for that alone. The offense is playoff ready. I think with Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, they can beat anybody at any given night. So for them, it's very important that they play for home field advantage, because in a playoff game, if you got those two guys and they're hot and you got a pitcher that's got his stuff, they can beat any team. So got the Phillies at 4. I actually predicted them winning, or actually I predicted the Mets to win the NL East, but I think the Phillies are going to probably take it and run with it. I don't know if the Mets can catch them. So we got the Phillies at 4. At number 3, which is probably the second biggest surprise. These last 3 teams are all surprises for me, honestly. Coming into the season, I had the Brewers being good, but I didn't think they were going to do this, and we'll get into them in a second. But the Toronto Blue Jays are a complete surprise. I didn't know what the Blue Jays were going to do. Didn't know how good they would be, especially in the American League East with Boston and New York. The Orioles had a good year last year, and they just literally flip-flopped their entire season from last year to what they are now, being back to being the Baltimore Orioles we know and love. So the Blue Jays, though, same record as the Phillies, 79 and 58. They've been looking great, one of the best offenses in baseball, not just in the American League. And the pitching staff is loaded. So you get into a tight game with them, they can win a game 3-0, 2-1. So the way their pitching has been going, their pitching is made for the playoffs. The same way the Phillies offense is ready for the playoffs. So that's why the Toronto Blue Jays are at number 3. They have the recipe for success to get into or even make it to an ALCS. We'll just see if they can do it, because they got one team that is slightly better than them, and they've been consistent all year long at number 2, the Detroit Tigers. Again, they have a deep rotation. Tarek Skubal might win his second straight Cy Young Award for the American League. He's been dominant all year long. This team is littered with all-stars this season. They're having a great year. 80 wins, 80 and 58. Been dominant in the American League, and they've been a surprise, honestly, to me too. I did not have them winning a division, but they've taken care of business, and they have a potential, not even just a Cy Young winner, they have an MVP candidate in Tarek Skubal. So the Detroit Tigers at number 2. At number 1, again, this is a team I predicted in April would win the National League Central. People were telling me I was crazy. I always get the text messages when I'm wrong. I never get the text messages when I'm right, but that is the life of doing sports online, right? When everybody gets to hear it. So the Milwaukee Brewers, number 1 team in baseball. They were the first team to 80 wins. As of Monday, they were 85 and 53. They're dominating across the board. Pitching is great. They hit for average. They hit to get on base. They manufacture runs. They remind me of the 2015 Royals, the way they manufacture runs. I'm not saying they're going to win a World Series, but they're just elite all around. They play good baseball. They got a good manager who probably should win Manager of the Year. I think the Cleveland Indians manager won it last year, if I'm not mistaken. But the Brewers manager should win it this year. If he won it last year, he should win it 2 years in a row, because they are even better this season. So consistent offense, strong pitching. They win on the road. They can blow teams out. They can win close games. They dominate within their division. Coming out of All-Star break, they had 2 double-digit winning streaks, right? They just completely separated themselves from the Cubs in the National League. So for that reason, when we talk power rankings, we got to have the Milwaukee Brewers at number 1, okay? So that's the list of the power rankings. We got the Texas Rangers at 10, the New York Mets at 9, the Seattle Mariners at 8, with Kyle Raleigh hitting over 50 home runs. We got the Boston Red Sox at 7, the Cubs at 6, LA Dodgers at 5, still with the championship pedigree, the Phillies high-powered offense at 4, Toronto Blue Jays at 3, and the Detroit Tigers at 2. Both teams have dominant pitching. And at number 1, who's just been elite all throughout the second half of the season, the Milwaukee Brewers. So y'all comment below. Let me know what you think. Who are the top 10 teams in Major League Baseball right now? Let me know if you like this list, this power ranking. You can switch it up if you like. This has very little to do with record. It has more to do with how these teams have dominated the second half of the season, what their trajectory is going into the playoffs, and just how dominant they've been on either the defensive side, pitching, or offensive side. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all go ahead and look at the list and tell me who you think are the top 10 in baseball right now. All right. The X Factor Sports Podcast, you can catch us every Wednesday night on YouTube, and you can always listen to the audio on any platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube Music, all the above. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to the X Factor Sports Podcast. So be sure to subscribe on YouTube to watch or listen on any of your audio platforms. All right. Now, let's switch gears. We got week 1 of the NFL season. Football is back starting tomorrow night. We got Thursday night football with the Dallas Cowboys in Philly. We got Friday night in Brazil. We got Sunday night football at AFC divisional round rematch. And then we got a division rivalry, the Bears and Vikings on Monday night. So what we're going to do here is like we did last season, Since it's week one, we're going to give you the X factors for each of these games, these primetime games, who wins and why, and who basically this player being the X factor to basically decide the winning factors of the game. All right. So let's go ahead and get into that. So the Thursday night game, we got the Cowboys and the Eagles. Okay. I think the Eagles win the game, but I think the X factor of this game, if they are to win, is going to be George Pickens of the Cowboys. I feel like Dallas is going to feature him, kind of a welcome you to the team type of deal. So for a couple reasons, I think George Pickens will be the X factor in this game. One, they're going to double team CeeDee Lamb, right? He's the number one guy. He had damn near 100 catches last year as Dak's number one go-to option, number two go-to option. So I feel like they're going to do a lot to try to get George Pickens ingratiated into the game. So be on the lookout for these guys. If you have them on your fantasy team, I think they're going to have good games this weekend. I think George Pickens is going to have a good game. I feel like he'd probably have 7 to 8 catches, probably close to 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. So I really think that with a new head coach, with a new wide receiver, with all that happened with Micah Parsons, I think they want to feature the offense, hit the ground running. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the coin toss, they actually decide to receive the ball first just to get some momentum going into this game. They got an offensive head coach, so wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. So I'm taking George Pickens as the X factor in this game. He's going to have a big night. I think they're going to feature him early and often. All right. So the second game we got, which is Friday night in Brazil, and it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers. Crazy that they playing in Brazil. I think they are already down there. They've been down there for a week by now. They got to get acclimated to the altitude and all these things. So in this game, I think it's Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the difference maker. Like I told y'all in the offseason, I told you he's going to be my number one quarterback this season. I just feel like Mahomes is going to be on a mission, has something to prove, did not like the fact that they lost in the Super Bowl. He probably blames himself. He was right back at it the following Tuesday after they lost the Super Bowl. And I just think he's motivated. I think his guy, Travis Kelce, this is his last season. I think they come out and just make a statement in his first game that they're focused and ready to play. As a championship level team, you understand when games are important. You got to make a statement the first game. It's also against a divisional opponent. You don't want to show any weakness. And I think Mahomes leads the way, leads the charge. No pun intended that they're playing the Chargers, but I feel like Mahomes is just going to come out ready to ball. He's going to be distributing the ball everywhere. I know they don't have Rashee Rice for the first 6 games, but that's never stopped Mahomes before from distributing the ball to everybody and getting on the board quick. So look for Mahomes to have a big game. I think he's the deciding factor. The Chiefs win, and he's going to have a nice game. So pencil in Patrick Mahomes to be the X factor. In the Sunday night game, Sunday night football, we got the Ravens at Buffalo for a divisional round rematch of last season. And in this game, I got Derrick Henry as the X factor. And here's why. So last year, in the first game, if you remember, they played the Chiefs in Kansas City, and it was a back and forth battle. They lost the game, likely stepped on the out of bounds line in the back of the end zone. When it was called a touchdown, they got the replay, and you could see his feet on the out of bounds on the white paint. But also what happened in that game, Derrick Henry didn't really get featured much, right? I think he had probably like 8 or 9 carries. Didn't do too much. I feel like in this game, Players don't forget that stuff. Coaches don't forget that type of stuff. Also in the playoff game, he didn't really get featured much. It was a lot of Lamar Jackson trying to push the ball down the field, get it to Rashad Bateman, get it to Mark Andrews. I feel like in this game, they are going to test the Buffalo Bills offensive line or defensive line by using Derrick Henry. I feel like Derrick Henry is going to get a lot of touches. He's going to be heavily involved. Unlike week 1 of last season, this is his second year in the offense. He's going to be a lot more comfortable. So give me Derrick Henry to have a big game on Sunday night and the Ravens to go out there and ball. We'll see what happens. But I'm going with Derrick Henry, the Baltimore bully, to do his thing in week 1 on Sunday night. And in the last game, the Monday Night Football game, the Bears, Vikings visiting the Bears in Chicago Monday night. I'm excited for this game. I'm going with Caleb Williams as the X factor in this game. The reason because is Ben Johnson, okay? All this talk we've had all season about what Caleb Williams should be, what this offense will look like. He has all the weapons. Rome Odunze is in his second year. You got the veteran leader in DJ Moore, right? You got Luther Burden, a rookie wide receiver. We'll see if he gets in anytime. You got Colston Loveland and you got Cole Kmet. You got the 2 tight end set. You got the offensive line that you wanted. Extra protection for DeAndre Swift. Everything is laid out for Caleb Williams. He's going against a rookie quarterback that's on the road in his first start. So everything is lined up for the Bears to have a great Monday night, and it's lined up for Caleb Williams to go out and ball. It's a defense he's seen before. Even though the Vikings defense is good, he's seen it before. I feel like they can go out, but they have not seen Ben Johnson's offense with this personnel before. Obviously, they've seen his offense when he was at Detroit, but he doesn't have the same personnel. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a chess match, Ben Johnson versus Brian Flores. And I like our chances at home because they have a rookie quarterback in his first NFL start on the other side. And the Bears defense is pretty solid. So give me the Bears winning this game, but also give me Caleb Williams as the guy that is going to make it happen. And he is the X factor in this game. This is the first of 18 weeks with his run to making history for the Bears, finally throwing for over 4,000 yards, which is crazy to say out loud. A team that's been around for over 100 years, we do not have a 4,000-yard passer. But I think this year we get it. So mark it down. I'm telling y'all, September 3rd, 2025, Caleb Williams throws for 4,000 yards this season. We can book it. We'll run it back if I'm right or wrong. But I'm telling y'all now, this is the year he does it. All right? So those are my X factors for these games. And the Thursday night game, we got George Pickens for the Cowboys being introduced. I think they go his direction for a lot of the game, kind of welcome him to the team and feed him early. In the Friday night game, Patrick Mahomes sets the tone. In the Sunday night game, King Henry goes to work. I think they get him the ball early and often. And then the Monday night game, Caleb shows out. He will be the better quarterback in that game, and the Bears get off to a hot start. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Who will be the key players in those games? Who wins those games? You can always comment on social media when we have the reels out, or you can comment on the show if you're watching on YouTube. I respond to the comments as well. It's the X Factor Sports Podcast. Appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. It's been a great show. So we're going to end it off on a good note, on a positive note, and a memorable note with the 2-minute warning. So what I want to do now is use this 2-minute warning to remember my cousin, Junie, as y'all might know him as Edie Mondane. You may have seen him on social media. Mondays with Mondane. He passed away last week, and just a great man. I was happy to be reintroduced to him. You know, he came around when we were really little, so I didn't remember him when I was younger. But once I started doing the podcasting and he was on the other side of the country doing his podcast, and so we just connected, we started talking to each other and wanting to cross ideas on ways to make the podcasting world better. He asked me more about, what type of things I use to talk to my fans, or how am I using social media? And I asked him about production. What are you doing with lighting? What type of microphones you use? So he was, more advanced when it came to the production side. And then he utilized my youth for the social media side, right? So it was just great to reconnect with him. I was happy to meet him and to talk to him, his daughter, see his family up there in the Northeast. His team, they were real gracious. I was on his show a couple of times. It was a lot of fun. We were actually scheduling to get back on the show, or at least get him some more talented people that I know to be on his show. If you haven't checked it out, Mondays with Mondane, you can check him out and follow him on Facebook. Look at some of his past episodes. It's very powerful stuff. His podcast is different from mine. He talks about society. He talks about Black history, Black excellence. So it's a great show, a great switch up from just listening to sports. He talks about real information and what's going on in the world. It was great to get his insight. You will be missed, Junie. We love you. Rest in peace. And I thank you for all the advice and all the help you gave me to help grow this show. All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in this week to the X Factor Sports Podcast, episode 98. Again, you can always catch us on YouTube every Wednesday night. Like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to follow the X Factor Sports Podcast on YouTube as well. This is where we get the most likes. This is where we need to get the most subscriptions, right? We're over 5,500 subscribers. Let's get this up to 10K. And let's get these views up on these episodes. Please, please, please. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. All right. In 2 weeks, I told y'all this is episode 98. Episode 100 is coming September 17th. We will be at Bogey's Windy City Pub in Leawood, Kansas. I will be there at 6:30, taking photos, setting up, talking to people, thanking people for coming. This is going to be a celebration. We are celebrating 100 episodes of the X Factor Sports Podcast. Most podcasts don't get past one episode. Even more podcasts can't get past 10 episodes. So the fact that we are going to get to 100 episodes of the X Factor Sports Podcast, it deserves a celebration. And I want as many fans as possible to either tune in on YouTube, or if you're in town, to come and support. There will be prizes. There will be trivia questions. You can win X Factor Sports Podcast swag, shirts, hats, sweatshirts. You can also win gift certificates, food vouchers from Bogey's Pub. I personally like the X Factor Sports wings that they got there. So y'all can check those out there on the menu. And just come and support, man. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. September 17th, episode 100. Again, if you like the gear, you can scan the QR code and it takes you to the X Factor Sports store. Let me know what your size is. The hats, we still have about 8 hats left. I think we got 4 gray and 4 black hats left. So you can scan the QR code, get your hat. We got some sweatshirts and some hoodies left going into the fall. Let me know what you're looking for, or you can just hit me up directly on social media. I'll let you know what we got in stock. All right. Appreciate y'all again for tuning in to the X Factor Sports Podcast. Catch us everywhere on all audio platforms. Catch the reels, the shorts everywhere on social media, and make sure you subscribe to the show on YouTube. This is Jay Mondane for episode 98. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. See you next week. Peace.